So the upcoming Pakistan versus India T20 match, it's become a whole lot more than just a game of cricket, hasn't it? Right now, it's a battleground of narratives full of accusations and political chess moves. One side is screaming that Pakistan made a massive U-turn under pressure. But the other side? They're insisting this is all about taking a principled stand. So what's really going on here? Let's break it all down. At the heart of this whole thing are two completely different stories. You have to ask, is Pakistan really just making a political U-turn, caving to outside forces? Or is this something else entirely, a principled stand for an ally? Let's dive into both sides of this argument. Okay, first up, let's talk about the accusation, which, is really getting a lot of airtime in the media, of the neighboring country. The claim is pretty simple. Pakistan got tough, then they caved under pressure, and are now totally backtracking. This whole feeling is captured perfectly by a phrase that's making the rounds, मान गए ना U-turn ले लिया. It basically means, see, they admitted it and took a U-turn, right? It's being framed as this clear-cut moment of surrender, pretty much saying Pakistan backed down from boycotting the match. So what's the logic behind this U-turn accusation? Well, the story being pushed is that the ICC put on some serious pressure. We're talking threats of sanctions, big financial penalties, maybe even making Pakistan pay for the TV rights losses if they didn't play. The key thing to understand here is that the decision is being painted as purely about the money, not about any principles. All right, but that's just one side of the coin. What's the official story coming from Pakistan? They're arguing this has absolutely nothing to do with the Pakistan Cricket Board, the PCB, changing its mind. No, they say the PCB is just following orders from a much, much higher authority. You see, the official stance makes the chain of command crystal clear. At the top, the government of Pakistan makes the final call. The PCB, their job is just to carry out that decision. So this frames the whole thing not as a cricket board decision, but as a matter of national policy. So there you have it, two totally conflicting narratives. On one hand, the accusation, the PCB is backtracking because the ICC twisted their arm. On the other, the official stance, the PCB is simply following a government mandate based on national policy. It's a huge disagreement on what's really driving all of this. But hold on, because the story actually gets even deeper. According to Pakistan's camp, this whole blow-up isn't even really about their match with India. It's apparently rooted in a much larger issue, one of principle and solidarity with another country's cricket board. So the official narrative adds this whole other layer. They're saying, look, this isn't about India. The real fight, they claim, is about the Bangladesh Cricket Board. The argument goes that Bangladesh was being unfairly pressured and Pakistan felt they had to step in and have their back. And listen to this powerful quote from the source material. It frames the action not as a U-turn, but as a principled war. It paints this picture of Pakistan standing in solidarity with Bangladesh, who they say was pushed against a wall, fighting against what they saw as a major injustice in the cricket world. And this wasn't just talk either. An emergency meeting actually happened in Lahore. You had the heads of the Pakistan and Bangladesh boards there, but they were also joined by key people from the UAE and Singapore cricket boards. Their presence really suggests that this was an attempt to build a bigger coalition to deal with what they felt was a power imbalance in international cricket. Of course, a conflict like this doesn't just happen behind closed doors. A pretty fierce narrative war is playing out in the media, where, how the story is told is almost as important as the facts themselves. Let's look at a really specific example here from our source. Just last year, the journalist Vikrant Gupta was welcomed into Pakistan. Officials were even helping get visas for Indian journalists. Fast forward to today, and he's seen as a key voice driving a really critical narrative from the other side. It just goes to show you how quickly relationships and media portrayals can flip in this kind of environment. So, after all this political maneuvering and this media warfare, what does it all mean for the actual game on the field? For the fans, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to national pride and the spirit of the team when they walk out on match day. And, the source material draws this really fascinating contrast in team values. On one side, you've got an Indian all-rounder who's apparently wearing a watch worth 15 crore. And on the other side, the feeling is, well, our players aren't that big, but our players have big hearts. It's that classic underdog story, right? Pitting material wealth against raw passion. And this really brings us to the final word from this perspective. No matter what happens with all these high-level talks, whether the match even goes ahead or not, the core message is one of just unwavering faith in the team and its spirit. The pride isn't just about winning, it's about the heart they play with. So, as we've seen, this is so much more than just a cricket match. It's a clash of narratives, a test of alliances, and a mirror reflecting some really deep-seated rivalries. And it leaves us with this one big question to think about. When sport and politics get tangled up like this, who really wins? The teams, the fans, or the hidden agendas playing out in the background?